just because you have a problem doesn't mean that Ford's going to fix it. So if you're racing your vehicle, even if it's stock, even if you have not touched the car at all, this is what was just told to me, which I completely disagree with, that Ford may deny those claims. Now, this is why this is bullshit. All right, here we go. We're gonna pick up the Mustang. I sincerely doubt anything has changed, but let's find out. All right, let's find some parking. This will work. All right, F-150, it's been fun, but we have to do Mustang stuff. I miss my Mustang. Let's go get our Mustang. Ooh. Have a good one. Thank you, sir. All right, we're in the Mustang. We got it back, and we are leaving the dealership now. So we're going to talk about what did they fix or not fix, this whole thing, the warranty stuff, and some stuff I really want to talk to you. I've talked to the guys in there about this, and I think that we want to translate this on video a little bit, and so everybody has a good, clear understanding. Now, I will say that this is so different being from the F-150 getting back into the Mustang. I love it. This is just so much sporty. It's so crappy outside too. It's cold and it's raining. But anyway, all right, so if you don't know what's going on, we had fifth gear issues pretty much. We had some issues downshifting too. Issues where it would hold at red line in fifth gear, not want to shift to sixth. The whole car would flash and light up because it would hold gear at the end of it at like 7,400 RPM for like 2 seconds. Sometimes going in fifth gear, there would be a loud audible slam and clunk in the transmission. Not good stuff. So that leads us into the warranty work. Now, I get where they're coming from, and they're trying to understand where I'm coming from too. Now, there's something to be said here for those of us that make these YouTube videos and stuff like that, especially with me with a large following. Thank you all so very much. I hope you do continue to subscribe. 2019 is already going to be, we've already got some stuff coming. It's going to be nasty. But those of us with a social media voice have that. We have a large voice. I can post a video that might get 200 views on the internet, or it might get 1 million. So we do have to be very careful with what we say. So I'm going to try to translate this as friendly as possible and tell you all that it is a work in progress. It's not complete. All right. So as of right now, what they've done to check off the block for, number one, and then see if it happens again, is to reset the cam and all of the adaptive strategies within the transmission. So basically, it's kind of like retaking delivery of the car. The transmission is going to completely relearn how I drive. So I'm in normal mode right now, but it's going to completely learn again everything that it's supposed to, like it would from day one of delivery. Now, that's good and a bad thing. Good because some people have had issues like me, and they have reset and reflashed their PCM, and then boom, problem is fixed, But other guys not so lucky, and that's my concern. If we're hearing an audible clunk, a mechanical clunk in fifth gear, it's not throwing any codes, but if we're hearing a clunk, is that issue going to come back? What happens when we tune it? You know what I mean? All that stuff. So generally speaking, when you tune something, your warranty is pretty much denied at that point. There's a difference between a voided warranty and a denied warranty. So legally, a voided warranty doesn't really exist. There's federal law that actually encircles that whole thing. You got to dig into it a little bit, but they can deny claims. So if my transmission goes out, because I've thrown 1,000 horsepower at the car, then yeah, Ford can say that we didn't build it that way. We're not taking responsibility. So that's kind of how that works, But if you do like a suspension mod or something like that, and then your transmission blows up, those two things are unrelated, and Ford should absolutely stand behind their product. Now, it leads us into what we're going to really talk about, that the dealership, it took a few days and a lot of conversation over the phone and in person to actually get on the same page. Now, for all of you guys that may have warranty issues, it doesn't matter what it is, you got to be very, very specific with your service reps, so that way they can translate that accurately and intelligently to the actual techs that are going to be touching the car. If something is lost in translation there, if there's miscommunication, it's gonna just delay things. That did happen a couple of times, but this is a complex thing. You know, the car was doing weird stuff and at different speeds, different this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, the techs decided that this is what they were going to do. We did get the head honchos there, all the big bosses there at the dealership, to put our heads together and come up with a solution. And they ultimately decided they did not want to rip apart the transmission at this point. They wanted to reset the cam and all that, reflash the computer, and start there. And as promised to me, basically, is what they're going to do is continue to research. So maybe if another Mustang comes in with the same issues, then they'll dig more into it. Some of this stuff is kind of like when, you know, Ford's reaction to piston slap, typewriter tick, barbecue tick, whatever. You know, Ford doesn't really know what's going on there. I can tell you that those that do have it, some of them have experienced like cylinder wall scoring whenever they've scoped the engine during replacement or this, that, and the other. And then some guys are just say screw it, and then they send the car and it's been flawless. The Ford Mustang, well, any cars in general are pretty complex, but the 10-speed in this car is pretty complex, I'll tell you that. But as of right now, just normal driving, everything is fine. I was a little bit frustrated with the dealership over the past week or so. I just felt like I don't want to say that like I was, how do I say this? Of course it matters more to me because it's my vehicle. I'm paying for it at the end of the day, if that makes sense. And it should make sense to all of you guys. I mean, cars are expensive, you know, and if you have an issue, you know, you want it fixed. Now, this is the ultimate problem. This is why they didn't actually rip apart transmission. It's mostly because they didn't have Ford's blessing at this point. And that is due to the fact that most of my issues are happening at speed, mostly around like 100 mile an hour. So that's pretty much if you floor the car, and in the 10 speed, if you're topping 5th gear going into 6, you're running about 100 mile an hour. They're close to it. And that is where the issue is. Now, all the Ford techs and all those guys are not going to go on public streets and break the law. They're just not going to. And I totally understand that. So that kind of leaves us in a gray area. If there's a problem that happens up in the high speeds, you know, when you're really pushing the car, if there is an issue, how do you document and determine that that's what it is? You know, I can document by video, this, that, and the other, but Ford needs to actually get in there. And I guess what'll happen is we'll drive around with the car like this, and if it happens again, it happens again. But right now it's normal. But I just picked up the car too, so I expect it to be normal. But the techs are not going to take your Mustang and run 100 mile an hour with it. I never asked them to. I did say that, you know, I'll grab one of your techs and we'll go out there and I'll drive. But it's a liability thing, I understand. It's a legality thing, this, that, and the other. But the guys there at the dealership were also telling me that just because you have a problem doesn't mean that Ford's going to fix it. So if you're racing your vehicle, even if it's stock, even if you have not touched the car at all, this is what was just told to me, which I completely disagree with, that Ford may deny those claims. Now, this is why this is bullshit. If you have a GT350 stock car or GT350R, okay, stock car, you take it and you road course it, and the thing overheats and blows up, and Ford comes back and says, we're not going to stand behind our product, you're on your own. What does that say about the company? I mean, really, you push a, you know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 car, and then you don't stand behind it whenever something breaks on track? The way the car was built to be, you know, driven. Like a GT350, people have had issues with them. But luckily, most cases with like the 350s and stuff, Ford will actually stand behind their product. Now, are they standing behind me at this point? Yes and no. Yes, because they did some warranty work, or they reflashed the computer, this, that, and the other. If it happens again, I guess we'll go from there, and then we'll start ripping things apart. But as of right now, this is how Ford has fixed my car. They have just done a PCM reflash, and hopefully everything is going to be good to go. I've got some documentation here, pretty much just talks about everything. Basically what they did was they drove the car multiple times, you know, up to I think 80 mile an hour on the highway. Now the only caveat issue to this is they mostly had it in normal drive. They didn't really toy around in sport and track mode, which is big time where the issues like live. So I think that you know, maybe that could have been handled a little bit different. But as of right now, we do have the car back. I'm super excited. It's very different to be back in a Mustang than a big, tall truck. But I like the truck. I think it's cool. But I like my Mustang better. I'm very happy. And if I don't push a video, I will push a video before Christmas. But if I don't, you guys have happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Go spend time with your families and all of that. And then we'll see you guys later. 2019, I'm going to tell you, if you've made it this far in the video, is going to be crazy. I already have stuff in the mail. It's coming. We have some modifications and stuff like that that's going to be dumb. Just really neat stuff for my Mustang here. So very excited. I hope that you'll like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn the notification bell on, and I will see you later. Happy holidays.